this is a new book.
It is.
Right? And a new liquor, a new spirit, right? New booze. Welcome to Books and Booze. Cheers. And happy November, everybody. Cheers.
I'm Leilani.
I'm Kristen.
And this is
Books and Booze. So, happy November. Really a month where, at least here in America, it's our month of Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
So,
let's not go into the history of that.
No. Please. Welcome to our, fourth episode, or fourth podcast of Books and Booze.
Yes.
But it will be the first time we're talking about this new book during this month of Thanksgiving, right?
Yes.
And it's a new spirit we're focusing on as well. So tell us about the book. Who are we talking about?
So the book is Thank and Grow Rich. Not Think and Grow Rich, it's Thank and Grow Rich. I think oftentimes people get inundated with thoughts of what they want, how they're going to get the things that they want. That oftentimes we sometimes forget what to be thankful for things that we already have and for all the nuances that happen every single day for us without us even trying. It's effortless. And so this book is really around just trying to center in and saying, hey, I'm grateful for all the little things that happen for me.
Mm-hmm. And then the spirit we're featuring with this book, it's St. Petersburg Distillery. It's another Florida one. This time we went with a vodka. So the St. Petersburg Distillery was started by a father and his two sons.
Oh, okay.
And they all three had a love of distilling, and they wanted to just celebrate their hometown. They were born and raised in St. Petersburg and wanted to just share that with the world. It's kind of their why,
nice.
if you will.
I like
right?
That.
So the St. Petersburg Distillery offers, gin and vodka and rum, and then it looks like they also offer some unique blends and custom things as well, which is really neat. So,
nice. And you've been to their distillery?
I have not been there yet.
Okay.
I've had their gin, I've had their vodka, haven't tried their rums yet, but just in my quest to support Florida over the years. They started, though, in 2014, so fairly recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 9 years now.
Yeah.
Well, good for them. And where are you able to pick up a bottle like this?
So, several of the liquor stores that I frequent, chain ones and small ones, I've seen it in there. So,
okay, nice. That's great. They have a great distribution only after 9 years. That's fantastic.
It is exciting.
Good job, guys.
Yes, very good. And so today, Leilani and I are both drinking mules. So they're called Moscow mules because it's with a vodka, even though this vodka is from St. Petersburg. So it's a St. Petersburg mule, maybe?
We can go with that.
We go with that. So cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Mm-hmm. So, this book, my friend.
Gingery,
right? Moscow Mule incorporates vodka, lime juice, and ginger beer. So, yes, not quite as complicated as the aviation from a few episodes ago. It was so good. The aviation slip.
Good. And just so you guys know, I didn't stop drinking them after.
No, we kept going.
I didn't stop during the party. We kept going.
We kept it going. We kept our own party going, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Thank and Grow Rich. So, what I love about the different books that you've recommended to me over the course of our friendship and business relationship is it's so important to cover so many different things for business, right?
Yeah.
Like it's important to talk about the financial things. It's important to talk about your entrepreneur turn into business mindset. It's important to think about the marketing. It's important the why. But every now and then come back to your base and just take time to be grateful for what you have. And so what a perfect month to do this in.
Yeah.
So I think your timing was perfect with recommending this book.
Thank you.
Loving it. Absolutely. So how did you find this book?
So, I've read many books and, gratitude is something that's found and mentioned many times in multiple books. But this one really appealed to me for the party favors, which she, we're going to go into a little bit more, but she calls it party favors. And essentially it's just exercises that you can do on a regular basis every day or every other day or once a week. You can plan it however you want. but it's just bringing forth and acknowledging the things that are happening in your life. Like I said earlier, the things that are happening in your life effortlessly, and acknowledging them. There's power in awareness. Mm-hmm. And so when you're aware of something happening around you and you acknowledge it, you actually give it power. And in this case, we're giving power to good things that are happening and not acknowledging the bad.
Right. I love that. And, you know me, I like to find my balance between science and, I don't know, we think we call it woo-woo, right? Sometimes I think she even does.
Side. I love her woo-woo side. The flower child in you is fantastic.
Thank you. But I am always looking for the facts, the provable data, if you will, right? Because I want to always be taken seriously and legitimately, I think, right? I'm looking to be accepted, right? Got to work on that, right?
That belonging that we're talking about from the why.
But what I like about what Pam wrote in here and starting out really is understanding that there really is something about what you focus on and what you surround yourself with. And it's just really coming in to everything that you are and just how connected even the little atoms in our body are to what's happening in the little atoms out in the universe, right? Yeah. And I appreciated her little blurb in here about quantum physics, right?
So there's the science.
There's the science. Well, because this is fascinating to me, right? Like it's easy, right, to go out. I think even one of her party, time she says, go out and literally hug a tree or sit underneath a tree, and we'll get to that one.
Yeah.
But, it's easy to kind of have that, I guess, sometimes when things feel like they're going well, but you need to pull that out even when times are tough, and which is why I appreciate the scientific side of things too, because that means that there's intention and order, right? Yes. It's not just a time to celebrate because everything's good. And
it's easy to celebrate when it's good, right? But it's finding the ways to celebrate even when
things are tough
and obstacles are put in your path
and stressful and stuff like that. So what I learned in this, and actually I think I remember a Discovery Channel episode I might have watched, but with quantum physics, and I don't know the names of these scientific things, so please no judgy statements on this either. But when something happens to a particle in one lab, another particle that was like way far away was reacting to what that one was doing. And I was like, so Pam ties that into like the balance of kind of what you're bringing into your own universe, your essence, your everything about you. It can be in balance with what is just happening in general out there. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that put me in a good mindset for this book, right? Because I can go very woo woo, but yes, you can. So, what do you feel really spoke to you the most in this book?
I think for me, it was just, I touched on it already previously. It was acknowledging the little things. And, it's very easy to be grateful for the big things, your family, your husband, your friends, your house, or the material things that you have in your life. But it was really it brought into your awareness about, getting up in the morning, the graciousness of being able to wake up in the morning.
I woke up, right. I have feet to carry me to the bathroom.
Feet to carry me to the bathroom. I've repeated that too, I'm able to sit on a chair and have a cup of coffee and observe my backyard. And, even if your backyard is the highway or the train passing by, still there is beauty in that. For little squirrels, racing to get an acorn, or for the birds that are chirping away, the little tiny things, there are little blessings that just happen every single day. And we as humans are so tied up into focusing on things that we want, especially now manifest. We want to manifest money. Everyone's about manifesting their wealth. In this case, it was saying wealth is everywhere. It's not, you're going to touch on that later, but I'm going to stop there because if I go any further, we're going to
recap the whole book.
Yeah. So
okay.
I'm turning it over.
True. So what I like about what she brought into this too. And I remember hearing this whole pay it forward thing, right? I heard about this years ago, but she brought it back home with, people in general really want to do good, right? And I love that she reminded us of, what was it, up in like the coffee place. I think it was like a Hortons or something like that, where somebody had paid for somebody's coffee behind them, and it created this domino effect. Yeah. And Pam goes into the book further to say that, and this I had never heard. I heard about, paying for the person behind you in line, but what happened at this particular coffee place was it went on for 4 hours. 4 hours.
Yeah, we're typically, they did a statistic in the book, which I think was like either 7 or 8 times it would happen, right? Mm-hmm. So minutes. But in this particular case, it went on for 4 hours. Which I thought it was incredible. I've done that, where I've paid for others something, right. Or if there's a need and I paid for it. But just the idea, and you're not understanding the rippling effect that could have. And think about it. You wake up in the morning, you're groggy, you just dumped your kid off at school. You're like, I got to get to work. Let me hurry up through the drive-thru, get a coffee. Doesn't it change your mood if all of a sudden now that coffee's been paid for just unexpectedly? Right. And so now you're going to do it for the next person. But beyond that, so you got a free cup of coffee, you paid it for, you're paying for the person behind you. And now your vibration is different. You're going to go to work happy. And the first person you talk to, the moment you walk into your job, you're going to come in with this alma, this spirit,
aura,
yes. of happiness. And that's the part where I really like about, this is just an example of paying it forward, but your vibration pays forward and ripples throughout,
yes. And just, it's almost like that butterfly effect, right? One little thing that happens. And so we talk about that with mindset, right? Like one little shift in your mindset. So like you said, you're groggy from dropping your son off at school or your child off at school. And then all of a sudden somebody did something nice for you. But I think what's even bigger is you chose to do something nice for somebody else. Yes. And that can change everything. Yeah. Right?
It really can.
Yeah. And I love her comment where she's like, this book, these parties, this mindset is not going to change your 401k. It's not going to change your bank account, right? You're not going to get through. Maybe it will. Certainly put in the comments, hey, I did it and all of a sudden I'm a millionaire. Great. So happy for you. What good are you going to do with that money?
Exactly. How are you paying it forward?
But what she's saying is, focusing on things the little things to be grateful for, like you said, and that begins that domino effect.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, it's funny because Kristen and I went on this endeavor together. I love her woo-woo side because it resonated with me that when we decided to go on this endeavor with Saige Consultants, money was not the forefront of it. I truly believe it will be the byproduct of it because the forefront of why we're doing this is to help people.
Mm-hmm. And that almost high that you get when you unlock something for someone, or their understanding of something, or their growth, right? It's amazing when somebody's almost their woo-woo eyes are opened to the really infinite possibilities. She talks about the infinite possibilities,
Which that will be a future book, so hold off for that one.
Is it one of the ones she recommended?
I don't think she recommended it, but I believe her and Mike Michalowicz are probably in it together. So just saying.
Future episodes, right?
Yes, future episodes.
And if y'all wondering, that lovely little pitter patter you hear is something that I am grateful for, just so you know. I have 2 amazing dogs, my beautiful little girls. If you follow me on Instagram, I often showcase my girls. They love to give puppy kisses, and their little pitter patter of their paws on the hardwood floors that my dear friend Jelly and I laid with my kids in this house, right? So much to be grateful for.
Scratch resistant
floors that we did by ourselves at a house that we bought by ourselves, right? It just talk about the gratitude. There's a lot to be grateful for. So their little pitter patter on that just.
And even, so part of my journey and gratitude is even being grateful in the obstacles. When you come against something that's difficult in your path, is, even being grateful for that, the lesson that you're going to learn from it, or knowing that in that moment in time you feel like this, but you're grateful that it's going to pass and you will feel something different in the future. I think I might have fast forward. I'm going to turn it over again because I think this is...
No, but that's good because it also can redirect your mindset. She spends a lot of the first part of the book, before we even get into the parties, like so much of it, she's encouraging us to really check our mindset, really, huge. And reflect on reasons to be grateful. Yeah. And she even shares different situations. I want to say stories, but I don't use story as if she's made it up. Like it's people she's encountered and just because of a shift in their mindset. And she does this throughout the book, which I love. People who've overcome things just because of coming into a gratitude, right?
Yes.
So in the month of November, this is why this book is going to be an amazing book. So it's the first episode that we are doing with this book. Grab it and join us on this because it's going to take us through a shift in mindset to be grateful and take us through fun activities to do daily, right?
I like it.
Absolutely. So before she starts these parties, she gives us 27 days of parties. Pam walks us through, like I said, just your mindset and your thought process with things. But she also really digs into some sensitive subjects around the paradigms, right? Yeah. Like mindsets that people are stuck in that can really hold them back and keep you kind of in a funk.
It really can.
Right?
It's the stories you tell yourself, stories that we're all... It comes from upbringing as well, but it's not because our parents knew any better. They just were repeating the things that they were taught. And so now they've, one after the other goes in and says this, this thought process, and all of a sudden it becomes truth, and it's not. They're stories. You can change the story.
You can totally change it. And so one of the ones is that the universe is indifferent. Yes. Right? Nobody cares about you. You're out for yourself. You're alone in this world kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's such a dark place to be.
It really is.
Right?
And if anything, humanity over and over and over again has shown that when people are in suffering or they're hurting, in need, there's always humans that step up to help. And so it's just funny that how that story has been told, right? Yep. Everyone's out for themselves.
Yep. No one's going to take care of you. No one's going to, right? No one,
exactly.
Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah. Power through it. And just really, humanity just wants to help.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate she ties in one of her future parties, with it's okay to ask for help and watch what happens, a rush of love and support when you can be vulnerable like that. Yeah. So another paradigm she talks through is that there's scarcity, right?
Oh, yeah. There's not enough to go around.
There's not enough to go around.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because I had to think for a moment, right? She talks about being thankful for everything, right?
Yeah.
And then she brings up this topic of, there's children starving and, people go hungry.
And that thing, eat your whole plate because there's starving children in Africa. And I used to think, mail them food then because I don't want to eat these green beans anymore.
I don't want these peas. Yeah. But I think there's, it's not about being grateful that people are starving. That's not what she's talking about.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No. And not that you said that either. But it's being grateful for what you have because somebody else may not have that. Yeah. But then the paradigm that there's lack and scarcity in the world, I sit out on my patio sometimes and the way we laid the bricks, grass is coming through it.
It was great.
Thank you. I love it. I wanted an old Italian feel, and plus I just don't know how to pour cement and really lay pavers, so it was a DIY project with YouTube. Yay! But proud of it. I feel really good back there. But I thought about a TV show I watched decades ago called Life After Humans, and it's what happens to planet Earth if humans were gone for whatever reason. It's not spiritual. It's not scientific. There was no end of world war. It's just humans aren't. So what happens? And I think we could go back to catastrophic sites like
Chernobyl.
Yes. And what is happening in that city? Mm-hmm. Like life.
It's flourishing.
It's flourishing.
Yeah,
I mean,
flourishing.
I believe there's still high counts of radiation.
Well, they can't tell from the plants. They're flourishing.
The plants are flourishing. I think in the past 5 years, wolves and deer have returned and things like that. So it's hauntingly beautiful.
It is.
So I have come to believe in my woo-woo state that the earth is flourishing, and the earth supports abundance and supports wealth. Not wealth as in look in and look at your bank account, but wealth as in food for everyone, right? Yeah. And it's human intervention. Clean air. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Abundance of water.
Yes.
Even though most of it's salty, but there still is an abundance of water.
There is.
Fresh water.
And it's unfortunately the human intervention that more creates scarcity than what this planet, the universe, if you will. She says that there's scarcity in the universe, but there isn't.
Yeah,
right? It's there.
I don't believe it. It's there. If you want it. It actually brings me back. So outside of this book, we hear about the law of attraction and manifesting. And one of the biggest, I should say, what is it when someone's going against you?
Like your opponent?
No, like they have a difference of opinion. Well, anyways, you guys get, you know what I mean. It's the booze talking. One of the main things that people try to say about the law of attraction is, well, if, everyone wants money, right? And everyone wants the same thing, there's not going to be enough of that to go around. And what's not taken into concept is not all of us want the same thing. I mean, this person might want $15 million, but this person over here just
wants a house.
Just a house.
And time with their family.
Yeah, and time with their family.
So abundance is different.
Exactly. The definition of abundance and wealth is different for everyone. And that's why it's not scarce.
Right. And that ties into the next one, which we hit it on a little bit, but that we're all separate. We're all like our own island, if you will.
Yeah.
But
no, we're not. We're all connected. We're going to read another one. We are one.
So excited. Yeah. I love the books you recommend. They're always amazing. And then then she ties it. She also brings in, sorry, there's the booze talking, that we value things that really don't matter. Right. And I heard this concept first from Mr. Nightingale. I refer to him so many times because I think that's what started me on my.
It started this.
It did. It was the catalyst for me. And he said something along the line of, we place great value on things that really don't matter, when in essence, the things that are worth the most came to us free.
They do.
Our brain, our mind, like our minds, our drive, our will, our passion, what we love.
Yes.
All of that's our creativity, right? All of that comes free.
Yeah, our spirit, our soul, our lifeblood that runs through our body, all of that's free. Doesn't matter about healthcare, it's still free.
Yep. And then I love how Pam goes in to talk about, she kind of compares people who are like ultra rich, stockpiling money, being no different than somebody who stockpiles whatever they collect, or even somebody who might be labeled a hoarder, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and that. So abundance is out there, right? We're coming to that understanding. It's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
And this book will help us with one possible mindset of gratitude and just being positive and realizing how much you really have to savor, and that's precious. But that wealth, financial abundance isn't necessarily happiness.
No.
Right?
Yeah. Most definitely. Well, it's funny. I remember seeing a meme that someone said, people say money doesn't bring happiness, but right now money would solve 100% of my problems. And I'm thinking, no, it won't. You'll just create a new set of problems.
And there was a story in here you and I chatted about earlier that really got you, about the man who started out.
What is it? Bearings, right?
Yes.
Bearings journey.
Yes. He started out from a middle class to low income family. So he didn't have a lot, but kind of through real estate investing, created wealth.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't enough. So he pushed for more wealth. He pushed for more cars, more mansions, more travel.
And I think, anyone, and this doesn't matter what class you're in, or, poor, middle class, rich, it doesn't matter. We all have a certain hunger, a hunger to do more. It's in our human nature to want more. But if your wants are not aligned with your why or your goals, and your goals are not aligned with your why, and this is why I said our very first podcast should be why.
Yep.
It gets muddled where you're going. And so what ends up happening is once you achieve one thing, you want something more, and you want something more, and you want something more. But there's always going to be a gap.
You're never satiated.
You'll never be full just because your goal was to get materialistic things or money, which you do any amount of research, you'll know that's actually not a tangible item. But anyways, I digress. Okay. So you go on this journey of just trying to fill in things or purchase things and get things and do things to fill a goal, a gap. And what I really like about, and this is why his story hit me so much, is as you know, I started my business because I wanted more time with my family, which I did. I achieved. I have plenty of time with my family. I love it. Now the question is, was it quality time? You see, and you know, things now are a lot different, but back then I had to kind of evaluate, you know, what type of time am I looking for? And then, you know, you want more money because you're thinking, well, if I have more money, it will enhance the time I have with my family. But that's not necessarily true, because if you're not thankful for the little things, then you're not going to be aware or acknowledge the things that really matter to you the most. And then that's what happened to Mr. Behrings.
Yes.
I'm sorry if I'm not saying your name right.
Behrings. Yeah.
And he went and he had a hunger and he started a business and he went on to achieve great things and great success and great money and private planes and all this other stuff. And he thought the more he achieved, the more he was, I don't know, being successful and accomplished. But
no. It wasn't until he did something selfless.
And that was actually by accident. He was going on a hunting trip in Africa. I think this is right. And then there was this church member that goes and says, hey, if you're going over there, do you mind taking some wheelchairs with you to be delivered over there? And so, yeah, he went over, he took the wheelchairs, and I forget exactly why he was the one who physically had to deliver the wheelchairs, but him physically involving himself in delivering the wheelchairs and seeing the faces of people
who could suddenly be mobile.
Yeah, and just the reaction they had, the gratefulness, and, you know, it fed something in his soul. And look, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm already thinking about it. It's just like, I'm telling you, it resonates with me. And so he decided at that moment in time that he wanted to do more. He liked that feeling. That feeling fulfilled him more than all the millions and billions of dollars that he had in a bank account. And he had never been happier than actually providing for someone else instead of sourcing and providing only for himself.
Yeah, I loved that. And I thought that was a great segue to really understand where Pam was coming from. Like, I love that story, and how just really positioning yourself into a place of gratitude, but also opening up to doing more for others and being grateful for what you can do.
Yeah.
Wow, that was powerful.
It was.
Right?
It was. And it is. It still is. Again, it's part of the reason why Saige Consultants is why we do what we do. You know, we've all been, you know, you and I both, and our husbands as well, have been successful in many endeavors. But at this point in our junction, we're saying, how can we go and take everything we've learned and been blessed with, and this life has given to us freely, and say, let's help someone else.
Yeah. So much to be grateful for, right? Yeah. So she wraps up her introductory chapters, kind of assuring us of 4 kind of gifts or experiences that we're going to get if we open up to being receptive to changing from being stuck in a negative mindset to being in a grateful mindset. And you even used the word frequency earlier.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yes. Just being that. And she discussed it, and we'll go into it later. But yes, there's a certain frequency that if you can tune into it, it changes the game. I mean, not only tangibly, emotionally, but it really changes the game in everything that you will receive as well.
And I love, because we were talking about your video that you made for us for like, well, I don't think you didn't wake up and say, I need to make an Instagram post, right?
Oh, no.
Not at all.
Like, if you guys can believe it or not, I am not the type that likes to be in front of a camera. It is not my mojo. I'm in my uncomfortable zone right now, but my dear friend told me, let's do this. And I said, well, you know what? Let's face it.
Let's drink and do it.
Yeah, let's face it. Fear, right? Dead on. And that's what I'm doing, guys. So cheers.
But your video was powerful, and you had a moment, and you even said that you felt like you got in tune with that. The word is frequency. Like, it does sound really woo-woo, but it also doesn't, right? Like, you woke up in the morning, you went out to read.
Yeah. Yep. Right? Like, my morning routine after, doing the facilities and all that is, I get dressed and, stretches and whatnot, and I go out on my patio and I read. However, today, I typically, Victoria's Secret sends free pamphlets in the mail, and I was using that as a bookmark in my books. and I said, you know what? Let me use a bookmark because you see a bookmark every single day. If you read every single day and your bookmark's in your book, you're seeing it every single day. I said, if I'm going to look at something every single day, let it be intentional. Let me have meaning. Let it, with the little we're talking about acknowledgement and awareness, let me have it help me bring myself into an awareness to start my day. And so in that bookmark, I wrote down things that came from this book, but some other things that I've learned along the way. Mm-hmm. And by doing it and actively putting myself aware of my blessings and what I'm grateful for, I tuned in. There is a frequency that if you are truly grateful for things and you're acknowledging them and you are dedicated to acknowledging them often enough, there's a frequency that you achieve, and I achieved it. And I don't like the camera, but I made sure that I got myself. I had no makeup, nothing. But
so I was raw and authentic, and in the moment.
Yes, I was feeling it, and I said, I have to get this on camera now. Because if I don't get it on, I won't do it. Because I know me, I'll get it in my head, and I won't do it.
And it's funny, you sent that over to me, and at the same time, I have my journal that I write in daily, and what she put on her bookmark that I've been journaling for a while, and honestly, a lot of what Pam, especially her first 3 parties, what she gets into, is very much part of my routine, and part of what we really advise even our clients, just to bring them back to home, if you will. Yeah. So, that is kind of just the introduction. We haven't even gotten into parties yet. So that was just the introduction, really, right? The first few chapters, so powerful.
It really is.
I'm really excited. On our next episode, we're going to dig in and we're going to start the parties. So that gives you guys time to order the book and get it started. Our next podcast will come out following Saturday. So it gives you time to read and catch up and get ready to do these parties with us, right?
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, what a perfect month to do it in. Thank you for recommending Thank You Grow Rich. And cheers, right? Cheers. Thanks for watching.
So grab a good book.
Grab a drink.
Grab some good booze. Stay classy, my friend.
Yes, stay classy. We'll see you next week. Yep.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. That's me rewinding.
Yeah, I got stuck. You rewound, and I'm like, what are we talking about?
Your screen froze, and I'm rewinding.